win or a little more significant considering how you played against who you played?
Well, it's nice to, beat anyone. Obviously, beating San Antonio's nice. Both teams were shorthanded. Both teams played like they just were on All-Star break, But it was nice to win. I thought defensively we were really good and with really small matchups tonight, so I was happy with that.
Two questions. First, how did you get through the day emotionally?
It was tough. I mean, it was a tough day. I think a lot of us got our strength from Monty, really. It was probably the best speech I've ever heard, especially in the circumstances that he was going through and still has to go through. It's not over for him. He has 5 kids. The support by the NBA, by Pop and all the Spurs, Tim and David West and Aldridge and Chris Paul and, all the Pelicans were there, all the Thunder was there. It was almost a celebration, but obviously for a sad reason. So it was tough, It's basketball, but it was tough.
And second, logistically, you completed a trade today,
Yeah.
service, getting back here. How can you kind of take us through the timeline of that?
Yeah, that was a tough one. It was very hard. The service is about to start. I basically told Dave yes and walked in. Really didn't know if the trade was done or not because I didn't want to look at my phone. And when service was over, I looked at my phone and saw that we had pulled a trade. It was the one we liked for a lot of reasons, and we just didn't know if we can pull it off.
Yeah, Doc, the impression is that you guys are going all in with this trade. You're going. A lot of teams seem to be stuck in neutral. You all seem to be going for it this year. Is that a sign of you going for it?
Yeah, I don't know. We're always going all in, so I don't know if it's that dramatic. To be honest, Bill. We just thought it made us a little better. I will say this about Lance, and because I've heard it a couple of times. Lance was terrific. Obviously, basketball-wise, at times he fit, at times he didn't. But I'm talking about Lance, the guy. He was great, and guys really liked him. And so, there's another example to me. I've been in this a long time. You keep learning about people, and you don't know a guy until you coach a guy. And so I was really happy with him as far as how he handled himself.
We've talked so much about Chris and having to carry such a heavy
Yeah.
load in the second half tonight.
Yeah, this is too much. I mean, we can't keep doing this. Especially with the travel today. It's just we gotta come up with a solution. I have to. It's me. Since Austin's been down, his minutes keep creeping up, his usage keeps creeping up, and so Pablo will be back hopefully for Saturday, and hopefully we get Jeff back, but that's just too much.
And obviously that presents long-term problems, but in the short term, he's been pretty terrific.
He's been great, but I'm looking at the long-term picture, and it's obviously we just got to be careful.
How do you kind of envision using Jeff? Is he going to play power forward till Blake gets back, or what's kind of?
He'll play both. I envision him using them in a lot of ways. It allows us to switch a lot more in some of the pick and roll schemes. He can play the 3, he can play the 4. When Blake gets back, he can play with Blake at the 5 and Jeff at the 4. I really wanted more length. When you look at the teams that we have to beat, we need to get longer, more athletic, and we need to increase our shooting. And I think with Jeff, we did all 3 of those things.
Doc, the fact that Jeff Green played for you at Boston, did that make it easier for you to want to get him? The fact that you guys know each other?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that's not why I did it, honestly. I thought of all the things that were offered, he was the best available for us that we could make a trade on.
Doc, and one more thing, and I realize we're still a couple of months from the playoffs,
Yeah.
but do you think that this, right off the top, closes the gap between you guys and, say, Golden State?
Well, I don't think anyone's closed the gap on Golden State or San Antonio, even though we just won. We have a lot of work to do. But, we want to just stay in the argument. And, You know, when we get to one of those teams, we'll find that out. But right now, Golden State's the best team in the NBA. I don't think it's even close. And, you know, so we have to try to catch it.
Doc, you coached Jeff, especially in one of the hardest times of his life.
Yeah.
What kind of courageous person is he?
I mean, that was the tough part of his life. And got very close with him, obviously. So did the whole organization. I thought Danny and Wick and Pags, I thought the whole organization handled that the right way, that you're going to handle something. And then Jeff handled it the right way as well. You know, to still want to play after that scare is extremely courageous in basketball terms. You know, I don't know if I would have, honestly. Yet he still wanted to do it. You know, the surgery alone is courageous. So, yeah, he has a lot to be thankful for.
Doc, you mentioned your defensive effort tonight. You held them to 23% from deep.
Yeah.
What kind of effort did that take to run those guys off the line and get out on the shooters?
Well, I think it helped that we were small in a strange way because we could switch, which doesn't create any of the bumps and the rolls, and that's what they get you on. So I think that helped. Our whole shoot around, and Lawrence, you know, ran the entire shoot around today, but the whole shoot around was make them dribble. You know, if they beat you with layups, they beat you with layups, but they have to put the ball on the floor. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job of that.
Doc, between Josh and now Lance, those are two of the bigger offseason acquisitions that you guys made. What is your process for deciding where that line is, where, you know what, this isn't going to work or it needs more time or whatever?
You know, sometimes you go with your gut, and, you know, listen, Josh was a late season pickup, so I don't count that as one of our big acquisitions. No offense, he was signed for the minimum. But Lance was a big one for us. And, you know, with Josh, it just wasn't working. And again, he wasn't bad either, just wasn't working out. You could see that. And then with Lance, I was very ready to go into the playoffs with Lance. You know, I just thought if something, you know, came our way that had more length and like a Jeff Green, we were going to do it. Other than that, we're keeping Lance because I liked him. I said it all year. Eventually, he's going to come through for us, and he was going to be a wild card for us. But for me to make a decision on stuff, usually I just look at the team. It's not that hard.
Does the fact that you're wearing both hats in terms of coaching and with personnel, how does that impact?
That probably gives you an advantage if it's you know, if you think it's anything other than basketball. Clearly gives you an advantage. I always thought as a coach especially if it's something like chemistry or something like that, I think it's very tough for the GM who's not there day to day to actually see like what you see. So that clearly gives you an advantage there. There's no doubt about that.
Doc, they cut it to 5, and I think that might have been around the time DeAndre had that big dunk on the low.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that was a momentum play for you guys and kind of?
Yeah, I just thought I thought getting DeAndre back in was the momentum play for us. We needed to get him back in, you know, and so I just that was good. You know, Cole had a great stretch there, but they were starting to take advantage of him, and then DJ came in and changed the game for us.
Doc's first game with Blake and Matthias back on the bench together. Is this any kind of further closure for the team putting this behind you?
Yeah, I guess I didn't even, honestly, I didn't even notice it. It's funny. Matthias has only been with me since I've been here. I never noticed him at the games or there, so I didn't notice that. Blake, I would prefer him to have a uniform playing, but it's nice. I mean, we've had closure on it. It's still, I guess it just takes time. It's going to grow, so that's good. CP needs to go to bed, everyone. You have 4 questions for him.